Is it against the law for a real estate agent to flip a house? On today's video, we'll expose exactly what to do and what not to do if you're a real estate agent and you flip houses. What's up, world? I'm Dylan Tanaka, and I'm known as a hybrid investor agent. I'm a full-time real estate investor and also a real estate broker. Before we go any further, please subscribe to my channel and make sure that you ring the bell so you get notifications every time I drop content. So let's start with the definition of house flipping. House flipping is basically a term that describes purchasing a property and holding it for only a short period of time before reselling it. Flipping houses can mean that you buy, fix it, and flip it, or that you buy it and immediately resell for a quick profit without doing any work. Now, there are very specific rules concerning real estate agents that you must know if you're going to flip houses. So you have to make sure to check with your local and state boards. And below you can find a link to every single state's governing body for real estate agents. The first rule that real estate agents who are also investors need to know about is disclosure. Agency disclosure refers to the fact that all licensed real estate agents or brokers must disclose to anyone they're doing business with that they are licensed and who they are representing. Now, this is done with a very generic form. You can choose that you're representing a buyer, a seller, both sides of the transaction, or just simply a transaction coordinator who is not representing either side of the transaction. The reason for this form is to let civilians, as I call them, this is people who don't have the real estate license, know that you have a license. It can be thought that a licensee is much savvier than an unlicensed person. Now, sometimes this is true, but it's not always the case. Every time I make an offer or an entity that I'm a part of makes an offer on a property, I use an agency disclosure. So here's myth number one. In the old days, people thought that private sellers would be afraid to sell to them if they were a licensed agent if the seller didn't have their own representation. Now, in my opinion, and as a hybrid agent, I believe the line between agents and investors was blurred a long time ago. The buyers and sellers who I work with that are unrepresented are put at ease by the fact that I have my real estate license. And in today's world of internet scams, ID theft, and other illegal activities perpetrated against unknowing victims, people would much rather deal with a licensed investor agent than someone who's unlicensed. And as a hybrid investor agent, we have the ability to legally buy and sell property for ourselves or represent private individuals as their agent. This is what being a hybrid is really all about. Myth number two, being held to a higher standard as a real estate agent is going to get you in more trouble. Now, I can't stand when I hear this one. Basically, if you plan on doing something wrong, you'll be in trouble whether you're a licensee or not. Again, smart investor agents can use this to their advantage when sitting with a client. If they have competition on that deal, they can explain to the seller how they have to train, pass a test, plus take continuing education, where your typical real estate investor who just rolled in off the street has absolutely no qualifications. So this puts a lot of people at ease. You've probably done more training than the average house flipper who's not licensed, which again is going to make them much more comfortable to do business with you. Let's go to myth number three, and this is a big one, that you're not going to need a license to be a real estate investor. Sounds kind of crazy, right? Well, the state that I do most of my business in, which is Michigan, actually requires real estate investors to have a license if they buy or sell more than 5 properties a year. You might just be getting started as a real estate investor or as a hybrid agent and say, gosh, 5 deals a year, that's a lot of properties. There have been times where myself or people I do business with could buy 5 properties in one day. Just know that the government is watching. And there are 3 other states and municipalities who are forcing investors and wholesalers to have licenses if they want to flip houses. So, in my opinion, it's only a matter of time until the federal government regulates private buyers and sellers and forces us to get licensed if we're going to be investors. So, the big question you're probably asking is, why? I believe there's too many innocent people being taken advantage of, both purposely and accidentally. The mega run-up in the real estate market since the foreclosure boom has spawned a lot of real estate investors. Statistics show there are about 2.2 million real estate agents in the United States, there are about 500,000 real estate investors. So if there's 50 states and there's 500,000 real estate investors, do the math on that. That means that there's 10,000 real estate investors in every single state. Now, I'm the last guy who wants more regulation, but regular citizens cannot afford to lose their biggest investment or where they live because of an inexperienced investor got in the way of them selling their house. In my Hybrid Agent Academy, I teach investors how to do many more deals because they have their license versus if they never go and receive it. So if the state or municipality where you do business is starting to crack down, and believe me, they all are going to, you need to think about having your real estate license if you're an investor. I also share the exact blueprint that I use to add 6+ figures to my bottom line every single year, only because I have my real estate license. Now, the Hybrid Agent Academy is 100% free to all of my subscribers. You can find the link to the application in the first comment. You'll be taken to a webpage with a form that asks you a few questions to see if you qualify. And if you do qualify, the Academy is a 6-week live masterclass where you'll have the ability to ask questions, network with other hybrids across the nation, and ultimately walk away with all of the tools that you need to become a mega successful hybrid investor agent. Now, I need you to remember this. As of right now, flipping houses as a real estate agent is definitely not against the law, but very soon, almost all house flippers may be required to have a license to keep investing. Make sure to subscribe to my channel and ring that bell so you don't miss any of the hard-hitting real estate investing content that I drop for you every single week. And you know that I'd love to know your thoughts about this video, so please leave me a comment or question below and I promise to answer. As always, I look forward to seeing you on the next video.